Am I the asshole for not caring that I was uninvited to my older brother's wedding?
This whole thing is so weird. I, 27M, am gay.
I came out at 16 and my parents told me they would always love me, but to not mention it to my older brother who I'll call Brick, then 19M, 30M now. When I was confused and asked why, they said that Brick had expressed some awful opinions about gay people. I limited talking to Brick until I moved out at 18, which wasn't much of a problem because we were never close. I went to uni, got good job, and an awesome boyfriend, 28M, in my home city.
Me and my boyfriend Angel live a peaceful life.
Peaceful until a few days ago when I got a call from my brother. I was concerned that Brick was calling me, as we have never messaged before, just had each other's numbers for emergency purposes. I picked up because maybe there was some emergency happening.
He opened the call with an annoyed, "Hey man," and I knew something was up.
He said he was getting married to his fiancée Yen, 24F, next year. I didn't even know he had a girlfriend.
I was like, "That's great, Brick,"
and asked some boring wedding things that he begrudgingly answered. He then told me invites were being sent out in a couple weeks, and that I could bring a +1.
Here's where I made the mistake that started this mess. Without thinking like an idiot, I said, "Cool, I'll bring my boyfriend."
Major mess up.
Brick immediately started yelling insults down the line, screaming that he wouldn't have an F slur at his wedding. I didn't say anything and just hung up.
I was rattled by hearing those words from my own brother's mouth, even though I knew his feelings about people like me.
I told Angel, and he comforted me, ordering in my favorite restaurant and watching movies with me, which was awesome.
We went to bed later and I felt alright the next day. I sent my parents a message that Brick invited me and uninvited me from his wedding pretty much in the same breath, and went on my way to work, not a clue of the crapstorm waiting for me when I got off. When I turned my phone on again after my shift, it was blowing up. Messages and calls from my parents and relatives galore asking me what the F happened. I phoned my parents back when I got home and gave them the rundown of what happened, and said I honestly didn't care because it's not like Brick would be coming to my wedding anyways.
My parents immediately chastised me for my obvious disinterest and disregard of my brother's life, and told me I should be apologizing to him for bringing my personal life into his wedding. What?
I basically told my parents to screw off and have been getting bombarded with messages from relatives to apologize to my brother and get my invite reinstated, and apologize to my parents for disrespecting them, but I really don't want to. Angel's reassuring me that I did nothing wrong, but it's still nagging me. Am I the asshole?
You're not the asshole, and it's easy to see where your brother got his attitude. My parents told me they would always love me, yeah, until the rubber met the road.
Your parents sure let you down.
My parents told me I should be apologizing to him for bringing my personal life into his wedding.
Huh. Isn't it natural to respond to an invitation with a +1 to say great, I will bring my significant other?
Angel's reassuring me that I did nothing wrong.
He is right. Not the asshole.
If he's a homophobe and the family condone his homophobia, they're enabling it, and the wedding will have a homophobic attitude. Your parents warned you about Brick, which proved sadly true since the moment he realized you went straight to the slurs.
Even if you did apologize, then you know you'll be in for abuse at the wedding if Brick ever accepts it. Angel is right, and the one treating you best. Tell your family you won't be the punching bag for Brick's hate. Not the asshole.
Ask them why they want to defend a homophobe so much instead of showing kindness and love to you.
I'm sorry your relatives are all being awful to you. Told Angel, and he comforted me,
ordering in my favorite restaurant and watching movies with me.
Aw. And this is how you do relationships. I know it's not the point of your post, but hang on to Angel.
That guy is a keeper.
Anyway, not the asshole. You didn't bring your personal life into Brick's wedding. You mentioned your +1. I would tell anyone that aren't your parents or Brick that this doesn't concern them and ask why are they involving themselves in this. And please don't apologize for anything to your parents or to Brick.
You've done absolutely nothing wrong.
You are not the asshole. To be exact, everyone here is the asshole except for you, and Angel.
Keep being true to yourself, and leave the haters behind.
Your brother is a major asshole for 1.
His views 2. His hatefulness and 3. His mistreatment of you. Anyone who is acting like you have done something wrong is an incredibly huge asshole and doesn't deserve your love or your time.
You are justified in blocking the whole lot. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for telling my mom she was the naive one who expected her husband's son to magically change? I, 22 male, was born deaf and was never a candidate for hearing aids. I was taught ASL and my mom and others in my family learned ASL too. This is the only way I could ever speak or be spoken to. I don't lip read or anything like that. My dad wasn't in my life ever. And when I was 9, my mom started dating Tom.
Tom had a 10-year-old son, Cole, at the time.
It was pretty clear from the start that Cole was unenthusiastic about us and had no interest in learning ASL to speak to me. Tom and Mom decided we should all take family ASL classes and learn together in a fun environment, which the classes they found were. Cole had to be dragged and he didn't take part willingly or eagerly. If anything, he'd intentionally do things wrong and make himself do worse than he would have naturally, so he was asked less. He did eventually take them seriously. My mom believed it was because he had really bonded with me and now gave a crap about communicating with me.
But that wasn't it.
He had a new kid in school he wanted to talk to who was also deaf.
The new guy was his motivation for learning. Cole and I never talked enough for him to be motivated to learn, and he made lots of mistakes when talking to me, but I noticed his ASL was perfect with his friend.
It always felt weird living with someone who didn't want me around. My mom and Tom believed we'd blended eventually. I think there was some fight when Cole turned 17 and my mom and Tom wanted to go away for a weekend. I remember everyone looked so tense one morning and I was told I'd be going to stay with my grandparents for the weekend since it wasn't a great idea to leave me home alone when I couldn't hear if something was wrong. My assumption is they wanted Cole to keep an eye on me and make sure I was okay, and he let them know he really didn't care what happened to me. Cole and I haven't seen each other since he moved out. My mom has asked a few times if we've met up or whatever, and I'm always honest and say no. She finally asked me 2 or 3 weeks ago if things were good between Cole and me, and I told her she had to have picked up on the fact he never wanted us around and wasn't interested in being good between him and me. She said she really believed that had changed once we got closer, and she brought up how he took ASL more seriously. I told her it was clearly for his friend. Not me. She was clearly shocked.
But brought it up again over the weekend, and she told me she thought I was very naive to think Cole didn't learn ASL for both, and that him being resistant at first didn't mean he didn't grow to love me.
I told her she was the naive one to expect him to magically change out of nowhere. I told her if she wanted to be married to Tom that badly, it's fine.
But she should accept it wasn't so perfect for me, and her claiming I'm naive about Cole shows how much she wants to overlook.
Mom was not cool with what I said to her. She told me I didn't need to hurt her feelings. Am I the asshole? I cannot stand wishful thinking by parents who refuse to accept the evidence right in front of their eyes. Never mind the direct words of their child, Ren. You told her the truth. It's her problem if her feelings are hurt.
That's just her deflecting her guilt about the whole situation back onto you.
Not the asshole.
It's sad how so many parents think that when they remarry, the kids from both partners are going to magically become best friends and act like most brothers and sisters. My mom has, so far, been married 4 times, and there are former stepbrothers and sisters I can't even remember their names, let alone be friends with.
Live your life, let your mom think whatever she needs to so she can feel better about her decisions. You are definitely not the asshole. Not the asshole. This couldn't have been news to her. I am sure she saw how you two interacted and had a general idea of how he felt about you. She just decided to ignore it. Not the asshole. She told me I didn't need to hurt her feelings.
Then stop fucking talking.
If you're not going to accept the answer, then don't ask the question.
If you're happier ignoring something, then ignore it, don't ask multiple questions about it. Stop expecting everyone around you to go along with the lies you tell yourself.
Not the asshole. If the truth hurts her feelings, that's because she fucked up, not because you told her. Not the asshole. She kept trying to force this relationship, and then she directly asked you how things were between you and Cole. She shouldn't have asked if she didn't want a real answer. She's the one who brought it up again and made it an issue. She's the one who called you naive in your interpretation. You were justified in calling her naive right back. She feels guilty and wants you to tell her everything was great with Cole, but it wasn't. She should have left it alone and not pushed you for answers if she didn't want the truth. Am I the asshole for refusing to sell my car to my socially shy niece?
Edit. To everyone asking why, I need to know if she actually wants the car and not just buying it because my sister wants her to.
I don't know her opinion at all, for all I know she doesn't want the car. Also, this is in a comment hat got downvoted to hell. I just bought myself a new car. This leaves me with an extra car which I was doing to sell back to my dealership. It's a Toyota Corolla 2018 which is in good condition. My sister asked if I would be willing to sell it to my niece. She is going to college in a few months and she will need a car.
My niece, I am going to call her Luna, has always been a social shy person.
I haven't seen her much, I just moved back to my home state. I told them I can bring it by to look at it. I get to their home and my sister and Luna were waiting. I start to show them the car and giving the basic information. I ask who will be buying it and my sister answers.
She tells me that Luna is buying it and it will be in her name. So I start speaking my to her, or at least trying to. Every question I asked her, her mom would answer.
For example, I asked her how much she saved up. Her mom answered. I asked how soon would she need the car. Her mom answered. I have heard like 5 words the whole time I have been here and it was when she was talking to her mom. I ask if she is interested in the car and her mom answer. I told my sister I asked Luna and wait for Luna to respond. I repeat the question and she doesn't give an answer and just looks at her mom. I inform both of them I am not willing to sell my car if the person buying it cannot communicate with me. So I ask again what she thinks of the car. She turns around and walks inside. I informed my sister I will not be selling Luna the car. We get into an argument that I shouldn't have put her on the spot and I know she is shy. I point out that her daughter cannot communicate and she will be eaten alive at college. I told her I will be willing to sell it to Luna if she contacts me. My sister called me a jerk. Update. I received a call from Dad, my bill. I don't know what is going on in that family, but he made it very clear to not sell the car to anyone. I wasn't going to anyways. In short, Luna cannot afford it and they are on debt. I don't know the specifics of what is happening, so I'm going to stay out of that. I will be selling my car to the dealership. Info. What's the actual motivation here? Are you trying to force the girl to not be shy? Are you worried the mom is making the decision for her? You said in a comment that you can't sell a car to someone who won't talk to you. I'm going to be blunt here, this seems like a nonsense reason. My vote, you're an asshole, and to all the weirdos replying, you're assholes too. You are the asshole. You are not in any way obligated to sell your car to anyone. But I really don't get why you were so triggered by your sister dynamic with Luna. Is your sister controlling or overbearing in any way? Did you feel you need to teach your niece a lesson? It's not unheard of parents buying a car for their children, and it doesn't seem that either of them was disrespectful to you. So it is really hard for me to understand what you were trying to achieve with such an adversarial interaction. ETA judgment. If the niece is the one buying the car, the communication of course needs to through her. You are about to enter into a legal transaction. Nobody can make an informed choice like that for her. If her situation regarding her social skills is that bad, the mom should have warned you, explained before you went over there. Am I reading correctly that you are refusing to sell the car to Luna as punishment for not being more outspoken in front of her domineering mother? Not the asshole. I don't get what's with all the YTA, because you're about to enter into a legal contract with someone who refuses to do even basic communications with you. That has the potential to backfire on you badly, financially or otherwise. I'd never sell anything to someone who can't communicate their basic desires and thoughts to me. It's too much of a hazard, as I can't be sure they actually insist the informed consent necessary for this deal to be legally valid. It sucks for your niece if she's really that socially anxious, but you're right in protecting yourself for this potentially coming back to haunt you. Not to mention, if it's that bad, she is not college ready and won't need a car, as she'll wash out of that place in weeks. Going against the grain here and saying not the asshole. If she is going to college, she will need to handle her own affairs. If she cannot handle her own affairs, then her mother should have given you a heads up. Plus it begs the question of why she would be getting a car in her own name. Am I the asshole for not lending my sister my wedding dress? I recently got married and wore a beautiful wedding dress that my wife custom made for me.
It means a lot to me because she put so much love and effort into it. A few weeks after the wedding, my sister, who is getting married in 6 months, asked if she could borrow my dress. My sister and I have a fairly good relationship, so it wasn't anything personal when I politely said no and suggested we go dress shopping together to find her something nice.
My sister was furious and called me selfish.
My parents sided with her, saying I should share because we're family. They argued that since she liked the dress so much, I should let her borrow it for one day. They called me a hypocrite for always saying I don't care for inanimate objects but still holding onto the dress like this.
Even though they pressured me, I stood my ground. The dress means a lot to me, and I want to keep it safe. Now, everyone is calling me an asshole, and my sister is barely speaking to me. I feel bad but also think I have the right to say no. So, am I the asshole for not lending my sister my wedding dress? Not the asshole. Your family is overreacting. Good for you for holding your ground.
Suggested script. I don't care for inanimate objects, but this was an incredibly loving gift from my wife. It is different.
I will not be sharing or lending it, nor will I continue to have conversations about it. If you bring it up again, I will hang up the phone, leave room, go home. And then do so. Good luck.
Borrow it for one day doesn't really make sense for a wedding dress because it is only meant to be worn for one day. The key utility of a wedding dress is its emotional connection to one wedding and its unique place in the life of a bride.
For a relative to borrow your wedding dress would actually ruin the utility of the dress for you because it would affect your emotional connection to the dress as a part of your wedding and would also affect the unique place of the dress in your family life. In simple words, it's not okay for your sister to decide that she gets to show up in all her wedding pictures wearing your dress. This isn't like borrowing any other dress, and it's totally ridiculous for your parents to act like borrowing your wedding dress is a reasonable demand. This just screams my sister is the golden child. How does your wife, the one who made the dress by hand for her future wife, feel about all her love and effort being given to your sister? A handmade wedding dress made by your wife as a gift to you is beyond personal. Every ounce of time your wife put in was for you, not your sister. Your sister is trying to take a precious one-of-a-kind gift and make it hers. Your sister and your parents are assholes. Not the asshole. Not the asshole.
There's a difference between, like, borrowing a sweater for a night out, and borrowing a wedding dress that your spouse custom made for you. It's clearly a very special item and special memory for you, and she had no right to get mad.
Not the asshole. It's your wedding dress.
They didn't pay for it. They're not obligated to it.
It's not custom made for your sister, it's custom made for you.
How does your family think they have the right to it?
Not the asshole.
I should share because we're family. AKA, you should share because your feelings mean nothing and your sisters mean everything when it comes to your possessions. It's bullying.
Your sister calling you names should have slammed the door on any further discussion. Everyone is not calling you an AH. Assholes are calling you an AH. They're too cheap, too self-absorbed to get a new dress. Make sure none of them know where your dress is.